Well, hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf. Hope I find you well. Today, unboxing of this kit from Tamiya. This is the XV02RS Pro, the chassis kit. This is Tamiya's sort of road-going version of their rally chassis. And it's not a kit that was actually on my radar. I had no intention of doing this one. And I'd looked at it, as I say, it's been around for a little while. The reason it caught my eye is Model Sport had a sale on this week, and I think these are still for sale if you're interested in one. But looking through what they had in their sale items, this kit was actually reduced down to 50% of its RRP. So the RRP on these is £399. You can pick them up. I mean, I've seen them for £260, £280 maybe. This was down to 199, and it's got lots of hop-up items already in it. I plan to add some extra bits on there. I plan to do quite a extensive build on this one, so when I get round to actually building it. But today, purely unboxing. So first thing, I'm going to get the cellophane off. Let's have a look around the box and just talk around the kit, and then we'll have a look what's inside. Right, let's just take the cellophane out of the way. It's a brand new box. I've not actually looked inside yet, so you'll see it as I see it. Okay, right, on the front here, give some of the main features. We've got obviously a schematic of the chassis here. We've got the hardened lower deck, which I believe is carbon reinforced. We've got the TRF aluminium dampers, and we've got carbon fibre damper stays. Fully ball raced, it says here. 4-wheel drive, independent, double 8 wishbone suspension, and a shaft driven 4-wheel drive system. I believe the shafts are also aluminium in this kit, so already a lot of hop-up items there, but we'll come to those in a moment. Just looking round on the side here. And on the side here, you see another schematic. We've got the fully ball race bearings in there. The drive shafts I mentioned again. Receiver not included, transponder not included, battery not included. So no electrics in this at all. It doesn't even come with a motor. Over this side, I'm just going to move it across so you can see we've got the carbon reinforced damper stays front and rear. They're mentioned on there. Right, let me just move this across and read this out. So, this 4-wheel drive touring chassis. Now, actually, I did mention that this was the road-going version of the rally chassis. Basically, they do something very, very similar to this, which has longer reach suspension. And this is sort of the road-going version of that. So, they're actually calling it a touring chassis, so I'll call it that from now on. So, this 4-wheel drive touring chassis assembly kit features a front midship motor and transmits power from the spur gear in the centre via identical length front and rear long prop shafts or propeller shafts, and is ideally set for on-road running. 39 tooth differential gears front and rear, and one setup option which is a 40 tooth differential gear are included in the kit, facilitating changes to the drive balance. So basically you can put a 39 tooth on one end and a 40 tooth on the other if you want to obviously change the ratios in which the wheels drive and grip. It features optimum balance and a slim chassis with carbon fibre reinforced rigid lower deck. So it is carbon fibre, the lower deck is carbon fibre reinforced, and the 4-wheel independent double wishbone suspension has the aluminium cylinder oil dampers, so the TRF dampers on there. So yeah, already looking like a really nice. So just moving it round, just checking there's nothing else on here. There's nothing of interest on that end. Obviously a nice little carry handle on the top here, very similar to the Pro chassis that I did on the Formula 1 car the other week. And there's some information at the end here. I'll just pull that out. As you can see on here, actual picture of the chassis when it's built up. So yeah, on-road orientated rally chassis. So on here it does actually refer to it as the on-road rally chassis. So yeah, I wasn't totally wrong in what I said to start with. So just before we get into the kit, as I mentioned, you're going to need all the electrics for this. So full radio gear, you're going to need a battery, you're going to need a motor, you are going to need a speed controller. You're also going to need a body for this, because this is purely the chassis kit, which if you're watching this, you're probably already aware of that. Right, let's have a quick look inside and see what we got inside the box. A bit of tape on there holding it all together. Right, the first thing I will say is this box is incredibly light. Yeah, as kits go, it doesn't feel like there's a great deal in here. But right, let's have a look what we got. So we got some foam padding, set of slick road tyres. You see there, they look pretty good. Let's have a look at them. I think these are just the standard, yeah, standard Tamiya road tyres. They don't look too bad. They feel very grippy actually. Yeah, very soft compound. Here's the chassis. Take that out of the packet. Let's have a look at that. So carbon reinforced. So this is an upgrade on the base kit, and you can see actually if you look at the moulding, you can see all the little glass fibres inside, or the carbon fibres inside, and it's incredibly stiff. You know, torsional rigidity and bending on that is incredibly stiff. So that's certainly going to help with the ride and handling. Yeah, beautiful moulding on these. They do a really good job, Tamiya. You know, really nicely finished. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Moulded components here. Obviously we've got, these are the suspension arms that come moulded on here, but probably won't be using those. We've got the steering components, we've got obviously the motor cover there, so a few bits and pieces. Set of wheels go with our tyres, the multi-spoked wheels, nothing really particularly special about those. I won't bother taking those out of the packet. Bit of a repetition, so in here we've got more of the gearbox cover, we've got some other bits and pieces, just some spacers, got the little drive nuts that go on for the wheels for putting the power through, and at this end these are the battery compartment stays, and then we get a repetition, so obviously two of those, one for each end of the car. Little skid plate and bumper, and the body pins. Come to the screw bag at that end in a moment. Let's have a look what's in here. You've got the uprights there by the look of it. They look like the some sort of drive in there, maybe part of the gearbox. Not totally sure. Got the servo saver. I think this has got the uprated. Yes, it has. It's got the uprated servo saver in there, so they high torque one. Set of cogs and various gears. I did think this had a oil filled diff in it, but yeah, we'll come and have a look at that in a moment. There's all right, we've got the main spur gear here, and two of the differentials. Should be three. So two are the same, and then one is an additional tooth on there. Yeah, there you go. So we've got the three differentials, so you can either set it up as 239 or 140 and a 39 tooth, that is. So yeah, there's your extra additional differentials there. We've got the steering uprights for the front of the car, wishbones. Of course, there are wishbones in there. They look, let's have a quick look at those. They look quite nice. They're nicely moulded. They look like they're in some sort of reinforced plastic. Yeah, very nice mouldings those are. And obviously there's two sets there for front and rear. More parts to the gearbox or uprights, I'm not sure. Obviously there's some sort of bearing housing there, and then we got components for the shock absorbers. Obviously all the upper and lower components to link the shock absorbers in. What's in this pack? So this is our consumables or screw packs. Urethane bumper. We've got a tool bag with the grease, and you see the typical box spanner, and also the adjuster for the tie rods. It's all in there, a couple of Allen keys. In here we've got the springs for the uprated servo saver, and some of the ball races, fully ball race kit. And also in here we've got a set of TRF wheel nuts. You can see the blue wheel nuts on there. With another uprated component there. So it's already components we've seen, obviously the gearing with the options on the gearing, the carbon reinforced tub, we've got the uprated servo saver, got the TRF wheel nuts, and a fully ball raced, as you can see. In this pack we have all these are the oil discs. Certainly got a tub of oil in the middle there. As you can see, these gear casing seals here, which I'm guessing to keep the oil into the gearbox. But we've got the drive cups in there, more bearings, and there's some components there. I can't make out what they are. They look like the steering components, maybe, for maybe the servo mounting posts. But certainly some anodized components in there, some TRF parts. So we'll have a look into the instructions in a minute. Onto screw bag B, and in here you can see the TRF uprated drive shafts, aluminium drive shafts. One for the front, one for the rear. More of the drive cups in there, more of the bearings, and it looks like this is the motor mount. Again, all anodized in aluminium, which is yeah, certainly puts this kit different from the sort of your run-of-the-mill kits. Here's your dampers. So, and then in here we've got the beautiful TRF shock absorbers. TRF being, I keep saying TRF being, if you don't know, is Tamiya Racing Factory, and there's a full set of TRF dampers there. It's going to look beautiful on the car. And then finally, box of components here, and here you can see our carbon fibre suspension stays. There's a couple of other bits in there, like the on here. These are the low friction steering joints, and all of the little drive shafts are in there with the different drive cups. These are uprated drive cups as well, but I forget the name of the joint off the top of my head while I'm speaking at the moment, but they're all uprated, more bearings in there. So yeah, really beautiful, beautiful kit. Lots of lot of optional extras in there. What we got here? Oh, this is the normal Tamiya instructions that just tell you to be careful and don't cut yourself. The usual kind of bits of information. We do get some stickers. These XV02RS Pro Tamiya stickers that I guess you can put on the side of the chassis should you wish to, or maybe on your chosen body. But I'm going to move the box out of the way for a moment. Let's just have a talk through the build manual. So on the cover here you can see we've got a nice picture of the completed chassis, VX02RS Pro chassis kit, and here on the front page, I'm just going to make sure this is centered to the camera. Yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure that I didn't have it out of shot before I ramble on for 10 minutes. So on the front here, again, just repeating that you do need to buy all the electrics for this kit. So this really is, you know, it says chassis kit, it literally is a chassis kit. So you're going to need motor, speed controller, radio, gear, battery, and also when you've completed it, if you want to run it with a body, you're going to need a body for it as well. So yeah, quite an expensive kit, you know, considering you don't get any of this with it, and you're going to, you know, buy these on top. But I mean, the reason they do it is because once you get to this level of kit, if you're not aware, that you know, you will probably want to run with upgraded motors, upgraded speed controllers, and not the standard things that you get coming with a normal radio control kit. And this just gives you all, you know, plenty of options, so you can choose what you want to put in there. A little bit of do's and don'ts with radio control cars, and then moving on to the build sequence. So got a carbon reinforced tub here. That's quite an interesting design actually, because the gearboxes are built, unlike the TT02, which is built from the top down. This is, you can see the gearboxes mount from underneath. So the actual caps to the gearboxes, or the differentials, shall we say, they're sort of mounted over the top. They're part of the chassis, and then you load all of the differentials from underneath, and then the closing part, which I keep referring to as the cap or the lid, actually comes on from underneath. So yeah, but as I say, carbon reinforced chassis. And you see down here we've got the turnbuckle shafts with the nut in the middle. So basically, once this is on the car, you can adjust your toe in, toe out without stripping the car down, just with the spanner that's provided. Also the low friction open adjusters on the end here for the ball adjusters on either end. Onto the steering, put the steering together. Now I did check, these are actually on one of the sprues, they're not aluminium. This is an option part. If you want to upgrade, I may look into that. I do plan on putting some additional options onto this kit, so we'll see how we go and see how that fares out. Mounting the tie rods across onto the steering assembly, and then the steering assembly dropping into the chassis. We then got the first of the differential assemblies, and you can see, you know, I mentioned the gear bag, all these gears here. Well, they all start to get assembled into the differentials. You see down the bottom here, all the Planet gears in there, and your differential gear on the side there. Again, you've got to choose whether it's 39 40 tooth or 39 39 tooth. So this is where you've got your option to change to the balance on the car. And then over this page, we put in the silicone oil. So that packet that I had earlier, which you can see here, this was the oil filled differential, I was right. So this is the silicone oil that we've got in here. And then over here, you've got, I think I called it, what did I call it, a seal or something, but it's actually the gasket. Gasket was the word I was looking for. There's two gaskets in there to seal the oil inside the differential. Not actually built one of these oil differentials before, so could be quite interesting. Yeah, it's not one I've done, so it looks fairly straightforward, to be fair. But yeah, you just fill it up with oil and put the lid on. So there you go. Anyway, front wishbones, they get assembled, and you see the ball joints going on here, and the rods running through that allow the suspension to work. And then these get mounted onto the lower gearbox closing panel. We're then mounting the bevel gear on the front shaft. So this is the lay shaft for the front gears. That gets mounted in. Drop in the differential. Then this whole assembly drops on from underneath and closes out the front differential housing. Connecting up the steering. And then we do repeat pretty much the same procedure for the rear. Assemble the wishbones, mount them onto the lower gearbox, lower differential casing. Then that drops in with the bevel gear, drops into the car, and then mounts from underneath and closes off the rear differential housing. We've then got the spur gear, so this mounts onto its own little assembly and shaft. This is an uprated part. This is the high speed, which allows the opportunity to change the spur gear to different teeth. Then we've got aluminium drive cups, which are again another hop-up item. And then at this point, when it drops into the car, you can see the two propeller shafts that or prop shafts that we saw in the bag a minute ago. The blue ones, so again, little TRF options to pop into the car. Again, repeating TRF, Tamiya Racing Factory. So yeah, it's what Tamiya refer to for their hop-up parts. There's the, I'll just actually to one side there. You see the two shafts there that equal length, and with the spur gear sitting right in the middle of the car means you get equal power to the front and rear of the chassis. Turning over, motor of your choice, basically whatever motor you want to put in there. Mounting onto, and again I'll bring this back across, this beautifully machined blue anodized motor mount. And this will be good for obviously heat transfer with it being made of metal, so you know, it gives you the element of cooling there. That drops into the car. You've then got a cover that goes over the top of the spur gear, and then we've got the adjustable upper and lower arms, which will give you your camber adjustments on the front and rear. So this one is the front arms, and this one will be the rear arms. I'll just cover them both here. So again, with a little nut on the turnbuckle, which means they can be adjusted once they're on the car, and you can tow the wheels in, tow the wheels out. Sorry, let's do that again. You can adjust the camber in and adjust the camber out, and then you can tow the wheels in and tow the wheels out. So you've got quite a lot of adjustment there on the front of the car, and then on the rear of the car you've just got the camber. That gives you a small adjustment. I can't see anywhere on here the caster. Caster's where you rotate the hubs this direction. Don't think there's a caster adjustment on here. I think it's just yeah, toe in, toe out and camber. We've then got our damper stays. These are the carbon fibre damper stays that were just here. Really beautifully looking. They're going to look great on top of the car, but obviously very strong and very lightweight, so they're another little upgrade. And then we've got our skid plate that I showed you right at the beginning of when we start unboxing, that screws on underneath, and you can see the mounting of the, which one's this one? This is the front one, I think. Is this the front one? Front damper stay. So this damper stay screws onto the front of the car, and then this one is the rear one. So assembly of the rear one, and that screws onto the rear of the car. Then we've got the front uprights and the caster blocks. Oh, there are caster blocks. So we have got caster adjustment. So you can adjust how the caster sits on the car as well. So full adjustment, full suspension setup adjustment on this, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, really looking forward to playing with this one and seeing how it runs. Drive shafts. We see the assembly of the drive shaft. So we've got the main cup here, and a pin drops through, locks the shaft in there, gives you universal joint at one end, and at the other is the standard dog bone into a cup drive. Gives you quite a nice little turning circle, I should think, on this. That's the front ones gone together and dropped into the car. The rear uprights and the drive shafts that mount in there. Now note again, roller bearings all the way through. Proper ball bearings all the way through this build of this car. Mounting the rear uprights into the car, again with the appropriate drive shafts on there. Assembly of the shocks. I mean, standard process with Tamiya, putting the little rubber seal in there, screwing the shock together, but beautifully machined. I mean, they do look absolutely wonderful, and they're going to look fantastic on the car. And having had quite a few of these TRF shocks, they are really nice bits of kit. You know, the suspension on the TT02 that I've just built with the TRF dampers on there, absolutely wonderful, and it works incredibly well. So anyway, put those together, drop your spring in. You can see the compressor spring that sits on the bottom here. This was these components I spoke about earlier that form the lower part of the damper shaft, and then you've got your spring holders and things to add on to onto there. Lots of adjustment in the shocks. We've got a second. Let me see if I can just pull the shocks back in. So let's just talk about the adjustments on the dampers. So obviously you can put different oils inside the dampers for different damping rates. You can change the springs for different spring rates, and then you've got the ride height adjusters actually on the damper themselves, which can be changed to you know, to change how the car is sitting. So they do look beautifully machined, aren't they? Really nice. So yeah, anyway, fitting the radio gear. Obviously this page talks about fitting the or getting the servo to be zeroed, making sure it's a neutral axis, and then dropping it into the car and mounting on the uprated servo saver. So you can see here you've got the 3 springs in here that build up the stiffness in the servo saver. So essentially, if you hit a curb or something, it doesn't send the shockwave back up into your servo. And then mounting the receiver and your chosen receiver and your chosen ESC electronic speed controller into the chassis, along with the servo, which again is something else you're going to have to buy. And you can see on the steering servo, from the servo saver to the steering mechanism, again you've got another turnbuckle which allows a form of adjustment should you need it. Getting towards the end here, so just cable routing, battery stays, and the battery stays, I think they also double as sort of a muck deflector off of the wheels to try and you send anything kick up from the wheels, they get sent down the side of the car rather than all over the electrics and the interior of the car. Mounting the wheels on, did mention these plastic little cups that basically they sit onto the drive shaft. You see the pin goes through the drive shaft, these cups push on. Standard Tamiya fixing, they're the first thing I'm going to change. I shall get rid of those, and I shall get the clamp type from Tamiya, if you know the ones I mean. So basically got an Allen key in these clamp on rather than the plastic ones. But they seem to make the biggest difference to any of these cars straight out of the box. Then we've got the body stays that get mounted on antenna should you need it. I mean, most people these days don't run with an antenna because it's you know, all digital, but I do try and poke the wire through if I can. And then the final touches down here is just the urethane bumper that mounts on there, and the body pins to set your body height, depending on it depends what body you're going to put on this. I've not even thought that far ahead, because as I say, this kit wasn't on my radar. I didn't actually plan to purchase this, so I need to think about what body I'm going to put on this, and you know, what I'm going to run the car as. So fitting the battery in here, these two little plastic bits at either end, they open up, the battery drops in, they close, and again they you know, keep some of the dirt out of the car. And then this is all about setup here, lots of information on setup. So talks about positive and negative camber, the toe in and toe out, and then I'm guessing over the page we'll talk about caster angles as well. You've got all your gear ratios. I don't know what gear ratio I'm going to run in this yet. I haven't even thought that far ahead. And then here you can see your differential gearing, so 39, 39, 39, 40, 40, 39. So depending how you want to set the car up, how you'd like the balance of the car, you can adjust your gearing appropriately. A couple of hop-up items here. I believe these are hop-ups. Yes, so centre differential. You can also get a slipper clutch for this, I did read, so that might be something I put in there. And then again on here, these are ride heights, I believe. Sorry, so these aren't ride heights. There's some brackets here that you can purchase to put onto the car, which changes the toe on the back of the car. So basically you can tow the wheels in, tow the wheels out, depending on, you know, your preferred setup. And then finally at the back here, this is one of the sheets that you get with the Pro kits, that basically you mark down all your setup, take it down to the track, see how it runs, make your notes, and basically make changes, but keep a record of how you set the car up for a particular track. Great idea, I like that a lot. And yeah, just a couple of things at the end here telling you how to be careful and how to use the car, how to look after it. And then the usual at the back here in all Tamiya kits, basically schematics of all the sprues. The bits you're not using, if you remember at the beginning I said those damper stays, we're not going to use those, so yeah, they're marked in the darker colour, they're the obsolete bits, but everything else you do use in here. And then finally the screw bags are all listed out here, and their contents, what's in them. So when you're going through the kit, you find, you know, I'm looking for an MB2, you can come to the back here, find an MB2, know it's in bag E, and off you go. So yeah, it just gives you some idea of where the bits are. I've just noticed there's an MB2 in bag B here, so it depends where you are in the instructions. They're all pretty sequential anyway, but obviously I'll film this when I build it. But yeah, quite looking forward to this one. So thoughts I need to have on this one is you know, what additional options am I going to put on here, if any? What motor? I need to think about the motor, I need to think about the speed control, I need to think about the you know, the ratio options, and yeah, just generally have a read up on it. But not a kit that was on my radar, not a kit that I expected, but an absolute bargain. So as I say, if you want one of these, I bought this from Model Sport, and yeah, they've got it in their sale at the moment, £199. So I don't know if they've still got any, so apologies if by the time this goes live there aren't any left, but I'm sure if you go searching and you're interested in the kit, you'll probably find one out there for a similar sort of price. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to building it. I really enjoy building, you know, these radio control car kits. I just get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I love opening the box. I love the smell that you get from them. There's a particular smell that you know, of the sort of rubber tires and the plastic and everything, and it just takes me back to my childhood when, you know, I built my first ever kit all those years ago. And yeah, I just really enjoy this. Sorry, I'm rabbiting on there, but yeah, so today was just an unboxing. Hopefully I'll get around to building this very shortly once I've decided what options to put on there. And yeah, we'll get that video up as soon as we can. Anyway, if that was of interest, please do give it a thumbs up, and please do check out the channel. I've got lots on there, lots of radio control bits and pieces, and it's pretty much anything that interests me, everything from roller coasters to model railways. And if you can subscribe, I'd be really, really grateful. And I'll just say thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.